What is up, my dogs? It's your boy, Mike Mason. We're here for a really special show tonight. We're continuing our run of Pipe Classic 14 ahead of 15, the finale. I'm really excited to share this one tonight. The competitor we're featuring is Laceface, uh, amazing artist in our industry, actually one of my teachers. So I'm really excited to share this. I'm really excited, speaking of, to have the lovely Carrie Strope with me as my co-host.
Excited to be here as well. Thank you for presenting this tonight for us this evening, Mike. Thanks for all the work that you do and the
Yeah.
hours into the lead up of a nice show like this.
Well, thanks so much. When it's an artist like this, man, it's hard to pretend it's like a bad job to edit it. It's not like the most fun thing, but at the same token, I'm just like digging through this and you know having total control over something you're really interested in is kind of cool. So yeah, man, I'm like the luckiest man in glass, as I call myself, and I really am to have the honor to have covered this event. A huge shout outs to Tito, Byrne, May over there, Patty, everybody involved, Jeff and the crew making the movie. Everybody involved with Pipe Classic was so sweet, and I'm just honored to be able to share this and hopefully connect you guys out there with it. Homies, if you're on the fence at all about going to this thing, it's next month. It's the 12th through the 17th. It's like going to be the dankest week of the year. The lineup is incredible. There's a pass for $75 where you get to come in and watch three artists at a time throwing in 12-hour shifts. There's a food pass. The meals are incredible, all that. And it's really Burlington's beautiful, parties every night.
And it's the
It,
last one.
it's something special, yeah, and I don't know if there's going to be anything quite like this ever again. I mean, there'll be other cool things in our lives, don't get me wrong, but this one is really something special, and Tito's put his heart into this thing for a long time, and you can just tell. So, um, without further ado or whatever, I did want to share the piece that we're going to be doing tonight. This is it. Huge scale, beautiful piece, and Laceface gave us a poem that I'll read for you guys. What will it take to make you awake? Must the stars align, shine down exactly right? Must the tide shift out to sea, an inconvenient truth beneath? Must every last leaf fall from the tree, every fruit consume your need? Must you wait to hear my plea until my very last offering? So yeah, man, shout outs to Laceface, not just incredible artist, but apparently a laureate as well. And her pieces touch on this theme of nature, and how much more do we have to take, man? I think a lot of us out there aren't gonna get it until the last offering has been plucked or whatever. That's just my layman's take on this incredible thing. But anyways, I wanted to share that and give you guys a little premise for what we'll be seeing tonight. This just incredible figure sculpture, incredible details, and just the way that these attachments flow. It's just what she's known for, and I thought that was a beautiful poem as well. So, with that said, or that read, as it were, anyways, let's pop this bad boy off. And homies, we're just gonna take a minute. These companies and events, man, they all contribute to this beautiful thing that I get to do, and then we get to have this party and document dank glass process, and kind of maybe make this world a little bit smaller for everybody out there. It's just not possible without these companies pitching in. If I was like some trust fund dude or whatever, I'd totally do it all day, and I'd probably be getting hammered on a beach or something somewhere, but that's another story. But no, I'm just kidding, man. My heart really does beat for this, and these guys kind of help my wallet beat enough to get me where I need to go. And man, I can't thank them enough. But we've decided that 1 minute or whatever is the the right amount. But yeah, I mean, I can't say how grateful I am to these companies and events. And then they're all here because you guys are here in good spirits and have made this a really kind community that's formed around this. It's all just a circle of love, and I'm honored to play my part in it, and I really do. I feel so lucky, and man, It really is a cool thing, and these guys make a cool thing possible. And speaking of a cool thing made possible, the Burn Gallery and Tito and everyone out there have been doing this thing. 15 editions now, or coming up on 15. This is the house where they were having dinners and the artists at and stuff. Absolutely incredible view, absolutely amazing food. I mean, absolutely amazing people. This was just one of the most beautiful experiences that I've had to date in glass. And epic sunset out there, man. Here's a different one of the after parties. Just this really cool event space, and outside they were doing Boro furnace work. Came up on Amy, short there from Glass Vegas. Here's some of those prize GTTs I was mentioning last week. Black on matte. Woo! And then all these companies there in the background pitch in, and GTT, the official torch. And yeah, we start every day with a gong, and there is Amy. So I thought we'd get her in there a good bit. Huge shout outs to her. But the woman of the hour, as it were, is Laceface. I thought it were appropriate that we start with the face. I don't think we've actually had a chance to feature her doing this to kind of iconic look that she is known for in her pieces. Virtually all face sculpting starts with this like dividing line that kind of sets where the eyes are, so that's something to keep in mind. Where you put that line on the face makes a huge difference. If you put it higher or lower, it can make it look more like a child. All these things. I'm not the best one to explain it, but you know, I learned to sculpt faces from Lauren Stump, so I do have a general idea. And so yeah, that's kind of this dividing line, and now she's going to add the nose and then use some sculpting tools to kind of push out the eyes and then add the mouth. And it's not supposed to be like some hyper realistic face. Like I said, this is kind of this aesthetic that she's known for, is this accentuated face or whatever. It's but man, they're really cool, and she nails it. So there's some glass for the nose. And then here, just kind of cooking that in and using this little blade. I use that for dabbing, but you know, it's good to know it's there if I ever do something more ambitious. And yeah, man, it's kind of difficult to film in an environment where everybody's competing and it's a small space. So huge shout outs to Laceface for letting me kind of sneak in here to capture these details at this kind of angle that kind of had me right in between the homies working glass. Thankfully, Dosh was on the side, and he's a friend as well. And I think everybody was like, "All right, Mike, we'll trust you just this once," or whatever kind of thing. But yeah, see, they're cutting in like the top and the bottom of that eye shape or whatever. Kind of has an almost alien look. I think the ones she's doing more recently, I think they're like more cyborgish. I think she is what she calls them and what they look like. But they're all very similar in this, you know, real distinct. I mean, if you saw that, like, you definitely know it's her work. It's probably attached to some insane thing with absolutely gorgeous attachments and you know, this flowing look that she's known for. Don't get me wrong, but if you just saw one of those heads, you'd know the deal. At a spot heating, doing some carving. Kind of does, you know, she does a little more heating. Lauren Stump will just go in and spot heat and then instantly smack it with the razor kind of thing. But she's doing a little bit more yacht rock version of that approach.
Yacht rock, huh?
Yeah. Trimming out that nose a bit. Little nose job. And yeah, she'd already kind of shaped out the core of that head and gave it that kind of steep cone taper to the chin. All part of that aesthetic that she does. And like I was mentioning earlier, I'm filming 3 people at once, so I try to stick with the homies long enough to get these complete things to share with you guys. But there's always gonna be, some kind of thing. But at the same token, I end up with a ridiculous amount of footage of each artist, and it was fun cutting it down to about an hour and 8 minutes. I think we'll be here tonight. And then there went on some glass for the lips and a quick carve in the middle. And yeah, look at that. That thing's already given me a little RBF or whatever. I imagine that nose just kind of cooks back a tiny bit as she was doing those extra steps, so maybe she went back in and tipped it off again.
Any guesses as to what color you could use to get this effect?
Definitely some kind of striking thing. It looked like a caramel or a butterscotch. The tube itself kind of had an amber purple look, but it's not that, so. It's always fun to play the color guessing game, though.
Indeed.
All
So
right.
were you back there behind her shoulder here?
I was a moment ago, yeah, in that tiny space. That's not even the most ridiculous space. Off to the other side, there's a hole in the middle of the bench where you can pop up between the 2 artists. You have to crawl into it like an animal. I'm pretty sure everybody laughs at you every time you walk in. Me, at least. And then pop up the gopher hole or whatever. I forget what they called it. We gotta ask Tito. I forget the name.
The whack-a-mole hole.
I think it might have been the gopher hole. The things we do for the dank footage. Okay, so this is going to be the piece that forms the torso. So she's making it into this rough kind of oval shape, tapering down because the chest is going to widen out to the shoulders. And then there's coming up is a couple of cool moves. Here, she might start doing it right now. Or in a sec. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Puff. I thought that was a really cool way to get this thing down to this type of shape without having, I'd be overcomplicating it with a paddle and all kinds of crazy shit. I'd be like, nah, baby, get me the Nathan Smith giant masher, whatever. The fancy one. And then another real cool move is coming up right here. If you have to go get dinner with your family or whatever it is, right after this move, it's all good. The rest of it is shit hot too, don't get me wrong. But these 2 moves, so quickly are just fuck yeah, Laceface. Fuck yeah. Look at this. Just cutting right into that hollow joint. And now we got a neck. Write that shit down. For real though, that's a really cool trick. I mean, it's just closes the walls and just completely alters the shape. And then she cooks that back in, gives a little puff. Now that glass is, getting close to being back to what it, a straight wall and happy. and she'll repeat the process on the other side. And like I said, this is going to give that shoulder with that, you know, coming up for the neck. Bink. Too cool. I really like that move. I intend to completely appropriate it as soon as possible. And yeah, shout outs to Doge there in the background. You can see working on the other station. There's two stations in here, and then there's the one in the front that you saw in the Hickory demo with the view out on the street. I pulled that shape out just a bit, you know, it's kind of thick there, and now look at that. It's a lot more svelte. And these nubs right here are just solid additions that are going to form like the shoulders. Oh shit, Steve Bates in the house. What up, baby? Another one of my teachers, man, and a super cool cat. So yeah, she's gonna add these nubs and then really work them in, and then even I think one of them she kind of nails it, and the other one she has to cut a little bit away and just set that taper up where it's going in. And it's funny, a lot of this, you know, man, it looks a little, yeah, there was the cut. Um, it all looks like these basic shapes until it comes together. But there's also some, you know, there's these angles that you know, she's concerned about, and really goes in and makes sure that that shoulder is coming away at the proper angle and these type of things. But I guess the point I was trying to make is just, like I said, some of these really rudimentary shapes, once they all come together, it becomes this thing that is like absolutely amazing. And there's almost an amusement to seeing it in such a raw, deconstructed form, knowing that it's going to become something so beautiful. Steve, homie, no, man, this is from Pipe Classic 14. We're doing like a whole month of Pipe Classic shows from when I filmed that back in the day, ahead of the finale next month. And yeah, we would have put some of this stuff out sooner, but you know, we'd all discussed it, and it felt like the right thing to do was let them get the movie out. So there was a bit of a delay there, and then it just took me a minute to get settled in. And honestly, these are big projects to edit. Not trying to act like no hero or nothing, but these are some of the things that really do take a lot of time to figure out how to reassemble and the most logical path. So anyways, here's the other shoulder going on. But yeah, we're super hyped for Pipe Classic, man. I really had an amazing time covering it, and all the parties afterwards, and the award ceremony. Like, everything about it was just super cool, and you could tell that everybody involved, you know, knew how to make sure everybody had a great experience, from the artists to the attendees. Yeah, it was really great. All right, so shoulder 2 is in the house. And then yeah, arms are gonna go on, and then we're gonna get into some of the bigger attachments. These little, like, they're like the mini baseball bats that they give you at the ballpark if you show up some nights, you know. And And then those are going all over it, and you'll get to see how she attaches them and then heats them while they're already on there. And man, there's some really hot stuff coming up. And then hand sculpting, a really delicate hand. Leaf sculpting is coming up. It's good times. I'm glad you guys are all here to enjoy this. Higher Education Festival. Nice, man. Heck yeah.
It sounds like fun.
Maine homies, keep an eye out for that. All right. I believe this breasts are going on now. So very similar methodology to the shoulders, but there's a good bit more kind of shaping afterwards, a little bit of carving, a little bit of drop it back. Steve Janowski says, anyone remember Kiss My Glass from back in the early days? Is that the guy with the YouTube channel? It's got a thing in the beginning. It's like, Kiss My Glass, or something like that. Always made me laugh. So yeah, just really working that seam. Got that exposure drop for you dogs. No, I'm just playing, but yeah, doing my best so you guys can kind of really see where the heat is at when it counts. Major shout out to all those companies on the wall in the back. Well, everybody pitching in to help make this event possible. All these events in our industry, man, that support really makes the difference. Taking her time, soaking that dank heat into that attachment kind of thing, you know? You go in when it's not really had that heat soak in like that, it's just not going to have this fluid organic shape that you want. Look like it got a bad boob job or something, you know?
She'll fix that. Dr. Lacey's on it.
Right, yeah, yeah. Dr. Lacey. Yeah. In another life, I could see her having like a daytime TV plastic surgery show, you know? Dr. Lacey fixes the stars. And then, yeah, you guys saw just those little puffs here and there. You know, while working that seal in, just kind of make sure that nothing is gathering back into the wall and make sure that that all stays nice and happy. And then huge shout outs to Connor in the back there. That's Pyroscopic, an amazing cameraman. Photographer is the word I'm looking for, sorry. I'm a cameraman. He's a photographer. Like, yeah, really cool cat, man. It's always a real pleasure to kick it with him there quite a bit. And always a pleasure to cross paths. But if you're not familiar, check out his Instagram. He's really does some of the best photography in the game, and I had a chance to document so much of what was going on in Philadelphia with like Germ and Slinger and all those guys out there. So he's actually got a really great book with pictures from all the years out there, the studio where all those guys shared. It's in my bookshelf out there. But he told me if I showed you even one page from that, he was gonna spill another beer on me. So I'm just playing. I'm not playing about spilling that beer, though. He totally did that. All right, and like I said, I think, at this point, just a combination of mild shaping there with the tool, and then, a little bit of heat and gravity, and, you know, but once gravity's doing Breast a favor. I'm just playing.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I can't believe the porn bots haven't shown up with this chat yet.
I know, with all, with all this bait that we've got here for him.
Yeah, we've had a pretty consistent issue with these bots that just show up and take away my audience because they're all off pleasuring themselves or whatever, I assume.
Yes, of course.
All right, let's get serious here.
Yeah, Mike, get your mind out of the gutter.
That's what you do to me, Carrie. That's what you do to me. And they're refining that shoulder, or that, not the shoulder rather, but like under the shoulder. Just kind of giving it a little poke there. Just making sure this all has the right angles that she's looking for. This isn't going to be like a doctor's office anatomical thing, but she has a certain look that she's going for, and she gets it consistently, It's not like an accident. This is a freaking master at work, real talk. It's fun seeing Dosh in the background. I shot him a message to see if he'll join us when we share his piece. I haven't heard back yet. I did hear back from Chaka, though, the Iceman himself. So we bet to get real icy next week, actually, dog. So he'll be with us. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I will. He did this encasement technique where he makes it look like ice cubes or whatever, or little chunks of frozen ice or trapped in the glass, and it's one of the coolest things I've ever fucking seen. So I'm like really excited to share that. But his piece itself was like epic scale, even for him. And he's an awesome dude. I've known him since I learned with Kiva Ford, and he was excellent back then. I was just a beginner. Like, how do I rotate glass again, Kiva? Or something. I'm just playing, but in any event, yeah, not to get away from this week, but yeah, next week, man, it's going to be another really amazing competition entry, and we will have the artist with us. All right, giving him a little nipple action here. It's just a little spot heat and a pick. Yeah, man. This sculpture is hashtag blessed.
Oh, Hedy Lamarr, maybe that's it. Trying to think, there's reminds me of an old black and white film star. You know, they had those brassieres that kept everything tight and perked and like huge like that.
Yeah, enjoy life in battle and strife. Man, that guy's name's a poem too. Shit.
Yeah.
Do you think the wall thickness is about the same now? I mean,
Just solid fingers.
yes, the breasts are definitely solid. So if you mean that, yeah, no, there's not like air blown into them at this point or anything. But the wall around them, in theory, should hopefully not have all thickened up or haven't like sunk into it, and potentially caused an issue. So she was just giving little puffs here and there to prevent, I think, that from like sinking in. And all right, chat, calm down, calm down. She definitely does have like a 1950s kind of, or whatever, kind of Betty, what's her name, kind of look,
Yeah, is it Betty Davis, Hedy Lamarr, Greta
Uh,
Garbo, Rita Hayworth?
I know, right? Got me Googling pinup models over here and shit.
Right.
Okay, we got Betty Page.
Oh, I bet that's it.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of, probably. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Good find.
But yeah, this is certainly a feminine sculpture. Let's put it there.
Chad is quite familiar with all those folks we're talking about too.
Yeah. I just assume that when Laceface moves into a series of males, they'll have ridiculous dongs too, kind of thing. So. Regardless, her pieces definitely have big glass energy. Okay, so these are
Indeed.
going to be the arms. Let's get serious, y'all. Um, and she's going to do two out of this one blank. And by doing that, it kind of, she's, working from one side to the other in the middle and just setting up a taper with this controlled heat. So she's putting more of that heat into the back and then hitting the middle as needed kind of thing until it pulls out into the taper that she's looking for the arm. And then, like I said, she's kind of working out from the middle there. So now the remaining blank should, in theory, have about the same material. I've seen some artists notch it in the middle as well, just to kind of ensure that. But Lacey's not a wussy or whatever, not just playing.
It's in her head. She's got it.
Yeah. She was like, I'm good. The homies in chat are asking if these are hollow or solid. I think these are solid. Alright, there you go. Giving these a little bit of a comparison. Seeing if she needs to remove any material kind of thing. With just the taper. And now she's going to do some shaping on them with that graphite guy there. Just a little, yeah, a little bit of that action. Just squaring off those sides. All right. And now she's giving it a look there. Kind of just sizing up the angle that we're going to go here, brushing that shoulder and the outside of the flame. while that attachment's getting nice and roasted on a little closer in. Shout outs to the Stoke dogs up there in the corner. Really appreciate those guys, man, and gals. They're all super cool. All right, there we go. Let's see, it's got that little armpit already notched in there.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Got these little subtle details that are, you know, it's like it can look like a freaky alien homegirl, look like something Captain Kirk would have been up on, but like some of these little details just make it give it that look that to the brain is like, oh yes, this is a living creature, you know, that has life and character and just reads right. Just makes you want to give that thing a little tickle, you know, just playing, but all right, setting up some bridging here. It's one of these, you know, there's like little techniques that we can pick up, like that scissor cutting to do the shaping, and uh, that little fucking paddling move on the Marver, and we'll see some cool stuff with the hands and cool ways to shape a leaf. But the way that somebody like this, who is so experienced with complex sculptural builds, sets up their bridges, you can learn a lot from that. So yeah, she's gonna get like both these bad boys on there, get them bridged together, and then be able to really clean these up. And this really isn't an uncommon approach anytime you have two attachments of any kind. It could be two horns, it could be whatever. And yeah, now she's free to work one while it's being supported by the other. And yeah, the homies in chat were commenting about that Kevlar sleeve. Like, woo, yeah, man. I thought I had some old soldiers or whatever, but yeah, that thing has seen some pieces, man. Looks like she just couldn't find the regular glove and had to use the wiper or something. Those are some pretty gangster sleeves. I'm just picturing her like outside the studio with like a boom box, you know, and like a 40. It's like 90s Dr. Dre on. I just going around that connection there, letting all that glass get happy and flow together, and you can see it start to flow sometimes, but the way she's taking this care, just kind of really, you know that it's a really happy connection. All right, so I had to go use the bathroom. No, I'm just playing. I was off filming somebody else, I'm sure. So she had made this can. It just kind of blew out a bubble, almost like the torso, except for into just a straight oval, and put a joint on it. You can see there's like a cold sealed joint cap on there. A little cool tech to pick up if you're not familiar with that. That's for when you're pretty comfortable with your cold seals. You know, you gotta have that heat right. More heat you want in the cap, you know. When you do these cold seals, it's like the thing that you want to break off cleanly should be a little hotter, so that the glass on the other side is just like, nah, son, fuck you. And instead of being potentially hot enough to be like, all right, I'll take a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if you want that to happen, it should be like the other way around. So yeah, that's my theory on cold seals generally. Still takes a lot of practice, but... Alright, here's one of these mini bats going on. Very similar to the arms kind of thing. But she got it on there and immediately kind of curved it around into an initial part of the angle that she's looking for. And then if I were a betting man who edited the footage all day, I'd say she's going to bridge that up as well. All right. And it looks like she accomplished that just by dragging glass over to the existing bridge. Real slick, real slick. Now, bridges like that, I'll say, not to be critical of Laceface, she can do whatever the fuck she wants, but when you're just getting into bridges and stuff, be careful about smaller bridges like that. You know, if you've got a heavy attachment piece, a move like that can be risky, especially if it's longer. Because what'll happen, it'll bend while you're in the middle of doing the seal, and that's totally like, oh no, kind of thing. Like, why'd I use that 6mm? Whatever. Kind of vibe. So just something to be aware of. Be careful when you do that move, especially if you're new to bridges. Once you understand the game, do what you want, kind of thing. But you can either learn from me now, or you can learn when you lose a piece because the bridge wobbled. So just think about wobbly bridges. That's my new country band.
Wobbly Bridges.
Wobbly bridges, yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd listen to that.
It speaks to the times.
So, do you remember if this piece went back to the kiln often?
I mean, it did. During this type of construction, not as much, but pretty much between every big move, now that it starts getting built out, yeah, it hung out at the kiln.
Not noticing a Bunsen
No.
anywhere here.
Laceface is not a coward like me. I wish she really is confident in these seals. It's really impressive. Okay, so here's where she's going to shape out one of these large-scale, like, bat attachments. And yeah, the bigger attachments like this are actually hollow, and they go on and they're capped off, but each one has a little hole somewhere. Which is certainly an interesting approach. You imagine on a giant piece like this, though, that probably results in significantly less weight. And in some ways, these hollow attachments and hollow pieces, ask Steve, and he's the better person to ask about this, but in some way, this could maybe be a bit safer than having so much solid glass on a piece that has, 20 looping attachments around it and such. And hell yeah, Steve in the chat. If you hear a crack and feel it through the handle, the crack happened in your bridge. If you just hear it, it was in the piece. That's some fascinating advice. Thank you, dog. Blessed. Write that down, homies. But yeah, look at this, man. Homegirl's got a baseball bat going here. I mean, maybe it's just like the woody look of that color. But it really did kind of, maybe, and it's just a nostalgia thing, but I really love those little baseball bats. And one time, man, me and my little brother, we snuck out to like get another round of Halloween candy. We were kind of devious. And
You took a bat.
We were out pretty late, and yeah, I had that little bat. Like, we didn't really go out on the costumes, man. I just put on like a Jason mask and had that little bat from the baseball game. And some older kid tried to snatch my bag of candy, and I fucking held that bag for dear life and beat the shit out of him with that miniature baseball bat. I'm not kidding. The only reason he took so many hits is I don't think he knew what the fuck was going on, man. He wasn't expecting it. He was just like, I'm gonna go take this kid's bag. Shouldn't be out here at 11 at night or whatever. And we shouldn't, but anyways, man, I completely unleashed with that little miniature baseball bat. And I doubt he bag snatched again. Okay, there's where she's setting up where one of the holes is gonna go. And she might have popped it in between the piece coming out of the kiln. And we've time jumped here a little bit, but I think you guys get the idea of the methodology for these seals. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is don't mess with my candy. Okay, no, just playing. And here is another one of these where, okay, she did the attachment and now she's, getting all these angles to get enough heat into it to give it the curvature and get it into the place that she wants. Now, we were devious with the Halloween candy, man. We do a front run, too, as soon as we got home from school. And we go hit up any of them houses where people were like, put out a basket, and it's like, please take one. And we were pretty respectful. We weren't like the type to take the thing, but we'd go and do a whole nother round before our parents even knew. Getting all kinds of candy from anything like that. And then we do like the official trick-or-treat run. Is that like a thing of the past yet?
I think COVID kind of slowed it down a little bit, but no, I think it still happens.
All right, so setting up a little bridge there. And we'll see that on some of these other attachments. At one point, she adds a pretty elaborate piece that already has a few of these together and then sets up a bridge. It's a little hard to see, so I'm glad we could talk about it now. And then, yeah, she even had those tips bridged up there. It's just these little quick moves. Set up these quick seals. And once the one that's like the actual structural one is in place, then you can kind of make your move on the temporary ones. For some of you guys, it's like, duh. And then it's just for me in the beginning, like I think I was mentioning it in a recent episode, just bridges were a little confusing for me. It's like, why did they do it there? What's this? Why does it go, all these little things. And then once you start doing them, it's like, oh, okay. It's just glass. Keep another glass in place. But all right, so now that one is free. And you can kind of give it the curvature down. Like you see these other ones that are forming the stand. Enjoy life in battle and strife says, this is amazing. I'm so glad to hear you're digging this, man. It's genuinely an honor to share this. I really think I'm one of the luckiest people in our industry to have the opportunity to share this, to capture it in the first place and just be there. And then to share it with a cool audience of people who actually enjoy it. Man, this is tight. I really appreciate everybody who tunes in. If you're tuning in later, it's okay if you can't make the live party. If you're part of the audience who enjoys this stuff, man, you're making a real special thing possible. So thank you. But yeah, here we go. Just really careful reheating to get that to move gently. Nino Glass says, this piece is giving me vague feelings of unease. You know, I tell you, man, it you saw the way that she works these seals. And when you've really taken your time, you know, you can have a level of confidence. And I think that's what we see here, is that she knows it's been in the kiln. She knows it's coming down evenly. And that's a huge factor, you know. If she were to go in and spot heat one of those shoulders right now, it would probably be like, oh, fuck no. It's a gradient of heat thing. Something like Roger Paramore taught me, you know, is about there's two types of stress as he explained it. Thermal stress and mechanical stress. Mechanical stress is, you know, you got that deep carve in there that's made this acute angle, that kind of thing. And then thermal stress is when one part has gotten much too hot, you know, and there's just this steep gradient of stress, and it's forcing it through that temperature stress zone that's like a bit below annealing. These two things can conspire, of course. The thermal stress, if you put it in an area that had a carve that might survive otherwise, if you thermally stress that, it's going to be more prone to go. But it's, for example, why if you just spot heat a tube, you get those spider cracks. Bam, thermal stress kind of thing. And then if you do a janky ass seal, you know what I mean, and the wall's all thick, or tags in the, you know, and all that, you got some mechanical stress there. Or the glass is left in an arrangement that is not preferable. I'm not the expert there. You got to go to Roger for that. And he's an amazing teacher if you ever have the chance to learn with him. And he does have like a Patreon that is pretty stocked out now with really good videos talking about theory and practice exercises and things like that. Like it's not cheap, but he's a, you know what I mean, a guy like that, dude. What's he supposed to do? Charge $5 a month like me? Which, by the way, I could really use, homies. If you want to support this type of filming and enjoy this content in the future. I'm actually like kind of stressed about how I'm going to pay for this Pipe Classic trip. It's like, geez, Airbnbs are so expensive, and everything about it is like way more expensive than I expected. And I'm probably going to do some special packs with some Kevlar sleeves and stickers and Millie and stuff like that. Maybe you guys will dig. Not to get into that. Let's just enjoy this attachment. But if you could overlook your attachment to $5 a month, that's fine.
We just squeeze that in there, public broadcasting style.
Yeah.
The phones are open, folks.
And you know, it's kind of cute on like a Sherlock or something, you know? We talked about this because she did a bunch of these attachments on another piece we had the opportunity to share, but to see it done on a piece of this scale and to see her still achieve this flowing aesthetic and loop these things around like just so fluently, man, oh man, the scale of it, I feel like some of you guys understand, you know, like it's easy to do something as small as like as soon as you start doing it bigger and bigger, it just gets exponentially more difficult. And in this case, the angle's harder to achieve, and it's really, really, really impressive. Stoked to share this. And here, check out this pad she's got it on. This, you know, sitting on like a what looks like fiber, you know, hardy backer or something along those lines, sitting on like a Lazy Susan with the something I assume that can take heat on it or not. I don't know. It's a cool setup to observe here. It allows her to rotate this around and get all these various angles on the attachment. And it's not like she can crawl up on the bench or whatever. I have to keep moving it. This is a really ideal setup, and it's probably something that, you know, she's worked at over time. Steve, man, if you want to do something online, that'd be amazing. Man, we should chat like about maybe filming something and having it, you know what I mean? Like film something really nice and really professionally. And if you guys in the chat would be interested in that, give us a shout out. I'm open-minded to that. It's not something I've really done. I've been so busy with event filming and all that, but dude, you're right up the road, and I just like to kick it, man. So if we have the opportunity to do that and make something cool and educational and maybe put a little money in your pocket, dude, I'd be about that life. So, yeah. It's definitely something I've discussed. It's just, man, either the timing didn't work out, or the class never happened, or this or the that, but I have had a concept for what I call like the virtual seat, where I'd actually be there sitting right at the ideal angle to film, and giving a like live camera like of this quality for online classes. And I think that would justify, you know, a price similar to what you would expect to be a spectator in the real class, because in this case you're getting an amazing view the whole time. And yeah, Steve, if you want to do it yourself, man, I could totally help you. We actually have an old episode about this, about how to line nice cameras into a computer. It's called How to Make Money While Making Money. And I did this little presentation in the beginning. It's just like a few minutes, but I break down all of the essential things to go live from your studio with really, really nice hardware, or just really nice webcams, multiple webcams. There's all kinds of options here, dude. I'm happy to help anytime you ever want to ask me questions about that, or anybody out there. Just drop me a line. I'd be happy to help. There's a really amazing live glass community on Twitch right now. Huge shout outs to Simply Glass. Drew Cups is over there doing his thing. There's a ton of people out there on Twitch right now. I don't know if Bob Dog is still active on there, but there's like a cool community, and they're really supportive of one another. So for you guys out there, even if you're not necessarily trying to do classes or go live for your audience, you could still get set up and hop into one of these streaming things and be live with a cool online audience, maybe make some sales, or just connect with other glass workers in a supportive community. So definitely want to give a big shout out to those guys. If you shout out, or if you reach out to Simply Glass, it's like, how do you, Carrie, can you help me? Could you link that in the chat?
Yeah.
It's like SMPLY or something.
Yeah.
My man ain't got
Why?
time for eyes. He's about we. But yeah, here's this attachment that I was mentioning earlier that has a bunch of pieces. So this large scale one, and same methodology as the one we saw a moment ago. It went on, got a little bridge, and then she was able to really seal it in properly. All right, and we made it to the hand. And this was a little tricky to film, but I think you guys will get the idea. So she's got this little gather here. She's going to give that a mash. And now she's going to give it some cuts to form the fingers. It's a really, really simple method to make really nice hands. How you tween these little protrusions that are created now out, you know, kind of separate the novice from the pro. I gotta find some non-gender specific language here because we're watching a woman kill it. But yeah, now she's giving that some nice heat to just make sure we're all the stress from those cuts, you know, is all kind of remediated. And now she's just grabbing each one with a small punny and a little bit of a cold seal and giving them some heat and just pulling them out into the finger shapes. And then she's going to add the thumb, as I recall. So yeah, and isn't it amazing how quickly that just went from like gather to mash to like looking like a little hand? It's so cool. But yeah, there's like a natural spherical thing going on with the length of the fingers and stuff. So like making this this mashed disc or whatever, that kind of lends itself to the natural length of the fingers involved kind of thing. Really slick little method. I remember another method like this that she taught us when I was learning with her actually, and she taught us how to make little flowers like this by taking like a little piece of tubing and opening it up and then cutting all the way around it to make the petals, and then just pulling the petals out, very much like she did these fingers. So you can make adorable little hollow flowers, or that start as hollow rather, but and this is a great technique because you can stripe the tube, you can do all kinds of things that then get exposed on the petals, as you peel it out. Yeah, no, Casey, yeah, she just added the thumb, so it's not like a Simpsons hand. All right, and there was even another one of those little bridges too. She like did the thumb, bridged it over to a finger, worked it in. Yeah, that bridge was definitely intentional. Whisker TT asks if it was intentional. So Carrie doing an awesome job of linking up relevant stuff in the chat. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie,
People ask, the people get.
All right, now here's the leaf, and I really like this method. She uses that same little reamer to kind of wink, wonk, wonk it in the Elmarver. Just gathering it up and pulling out this little oval shape first. And Carrie's been up since 5 this morning.
4:45. No, 4:20 actually. I was up at 4:20 a.m.
Yeah, working on an amazing community project. If you have some pictures of that up, I'll be and I could like put them up or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are they?
See. Mostly on my computer.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can get it done before the end of the thing, if not, another time. Anyways, Carrie was up very early today installing this public, incredible like mosaic. It's like an eagle that's like, how tall is it?
80 inches. Oh, yeah.
How tall is that?
we measured it. 80 inches.
It's like 6 foot tall or something. 6 foot something.
6 foot 6.
Yeah, it looked ridiculous. So this huge public mosaic, amazing like, what bird sculpture? What would you call it?
Well, it's symbology, imagery from the Mayan culture. It was a sculpture that was created for the Mayan Community Center here in Omaha.
Okay. And yeah, look at this. Sorry here, not to interrupt.
No, yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, we're getting into the mashing game here. So gave it that first mash, and then now she's going into the middle. So it's got this flat shape and then this notched leaf shape. And see that she like pushed out from the center and flattened that. Like really cool look. Let's really quickly achieve that really specific shape. And now pulling it out a little bit, giving it this more organic look. And yeah, now she's going to detach it. It looks like she kind of heated it so it elongates a little bit from the top too as she does that. Yeah, and look at that, from the bottom rather. Look at that. Oh yeah. Alright, and here's one of the hands. It's already gotten a couple of pieces attached, and we'll see how the leaf goes on now. And yeah, no big changes here. Got it on, bridged it up, and now work the seal. And yeah, a hand torch just comes incredibly in handy for this type of stuff. So I'd get one of those as soon as possible. I love my Gentek ST with the Blast Shield 5 hole tip, but you got a lot of options there. I like it though because it's kind of a good all-around one. I think the Hornet tip, which is like a one-hole tip, like those are a little hotter. Really good if you're just doing a bunch of clear seals or not working with anything too sensitive. But the Blast Shield 5 hole and probably the 7 hole, like because they have smaller holes, there's like a bit more velocity, and I can use it to like rip holes in things or pop holes if I see it in a milli build coming up, you know, little things like that. But yeah, maybe not quite as hot. That's my take on hand torch tips that I've owned. And don't sleep on the stock tips. We were watching Eugene use one of the stock tips before to get inside a little tiny the dish where he'd stuck a marble inside and was working the seal inside of this incredibly tiny space just using one of the stock tips. Because it probably might have been a little much if he had used one of those aftermarket tips. Maybe even it was just an approach angle thing, because the stock tips are pretty short and have this little kink in the notch, you know, or in the nozzle or in the tip. I don't know what you want to call it. In the neck. Here's one of the seals going down with the hand. I'm learning to do reels on Instagram. I made a reel with this today. It got about 15 times the engagement of the picture. So
Reels are where it's at.
yeah,
They want you guys to be stuck to this. Yeah.
So I'm slowly learning how to take my content from the camera to reels. I'd like to do it more though. It seems like everybody was enjoying it, and I'd like to do it for even random things we've done in the past. Like, why not find the coolest moments and make a quick reel? Kind of thing for the dogs.
Normac was mentioning earlier in chat that it'd be really cool to pull almost like a glass blowing glossary or terms or techniques to make them into little shorts.
Yep. Yeah, she did a great job of having the right amount of material in the seal. She's going to clean that elbow up a little bit, but like there's very little to do here. And I think that's a lot better than having to like add material after the fact and that sort of thing, you know? Word. Mealy says my reels have gotten more engagement than anything I've ever posted put together. Yeah, it seems like reels are where it's at right now. Gotta keep with the times. So yeah, just removed a bit of material there, but in general, yeah, look at that elbow. It really did shape itself out. Like if you put your arm out, like there's a little bit of that kink there, you know? Like she nailed it. Like it's
beautiful.
Yeah, Laceface is a really, really, really talented flame worker. All right, bridge coming off. Always removing the bridge a little bit away from the piece itself, you know, and then going back on that bit of clear. Much more control, and it lets some heat bleed back in, so you're not shocking anything. Just some thoughts. And there it is again. This time Carrie's going to treat you guys to a poem.
What will it take to make you awake? Must the stars align, shine down exactly right? Must the tide shift out to sea, an inconvenient truth beneath? Must every last leaf fall from the tree, every fruit consume your need? Must you wait to hear my plea until my very last offering?
Thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Laceface. Seriously, thank you for the beautiful poem. Thank you for the beautiful art. And thank you for sharing your process and allowing me to put a camera on this. Thank you to Tito Byrne and everyone over there at the Byrne Gallery. May, all the dogs over there. Oh shit, Robert Data in the house, my boy, coming in fashionably late, but it's okay. I appreciate you. I love you, brother. Anyways, this piece is just amazing, and I am overflowing with gratitude to the dogs over there at the Byrne Gallery, and to Laceface, and to my audience for allowing me to be in this position to share this stuff. I'm a really lucky dude. Look at this beautiful place you guys have put me in. We're just going to take one moment to shout out some companies and events that pitch in and help your boy get to these events. Not a rich dude over here and not trying to make a big deal about it, but frankly I take a lot of time away from my own work to edit video and go film and all of that. And you know, even with all these sponsors, it's like I still am going into my pocket quite a bit. So that's not to get into that, it's just to say that I really appreciate these folks for covering a huge portion of the spread, because you know I can get over that hurdle. But if any of you guys want to pitch in too, man, we have a Patreon. It's at torchpass.org. $5 a month, man, will go a long way. But yeah, it's a really, like, I've tried to take this public broadcasting approach, you know, with everybody getting to pitch in a little bit, and we get to do something really special. So that's kind of been my approach, instead of, you know, having a few giant sponsors and all the politics that ensue from there. We've taken this approach, and we've been able to make a lot happen thanks to all these cats, and thanks to all you guys out there. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys, for real, man. You made something really special in my life possible. So huge shout outs to everybody who tuned in. Again, man, the biggest thanks in the world to everybody at the Byrne Gallery and Tito for making this possible. It looks like we will have him for our finale show, and there's like 5 Tuesdays this month. So we're gonna do 5 of these crazy shows with the Pipe Classic focus. Awesome. And yeah, so I think August 30th will be the finale show with Serto, doing this incredible series of pieces. It's like a drop. It's like a marble dropping into water in 10 sculptures, like from the beginning to the end of that moment, and it's spectacular. It took first place. And we'll get to see like really cool techniques for sculpting water and motion. Yeah, that's going to be a great demo, and we'll have Tito with us and have kind of the chance to thank him in person and express this gratitude, because I really do appreciate this. Yo, Carrie, thank you for joining me and reading us a poem and giving us that dank commentary. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody for being here. Thank you, Mike, for doing all the work to film it and then edit it and then organize the party.
No worries, man. I'm living a dream, for real. So heck yeah, thanks for your part in that. You've supported this in some big ways. I really appreciate you. Yeah. Brush some dirt off your shoulder or whatever, Carrie. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up there. I really do appreciate everybody out there, and again, another huge shout out to Laceface for letting me put a camera in her face while she was in the middle of this serious competition. I think we got to share something really special as a result. So yeah, much love, you guys. I'm gonna send you off to Carrie for a good night. Peace.
Oh, we just did that.
No. You just brushed some dirt off your shoulder. Now you can say goodnight,
Okay,
Mrs. X.
okay, all right. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. We're so happy that you could be here because otherwise it'd just be me and Mike talking to each other, which is great, but there's no reason for us to do that for you all if you're not here. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being active in chat. Thanks for participating and hanging out and bringing the party. Yeah, we'll see you next week, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
With another dank heater.
That's right. Night, dogs.